When people talk about Bitcoin risk, they only usually mean one thing, and that's the price. Price going down, volatility, big red candles. But here's the thing, price is not the risk that wipes most people out. The real damage comes from risks most people never even think about. And by the time they discover them, it's usually too late. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the Bitcoin risks that no one talks about. Not to scare you, but to help you avoid making these mistakes because they are completely avoidable. This video is for thoughtful buyers, people who want to own Bitcoin properly and hold it with confidence, not anxiety. It's not for traders and it's not for people chasing fast gains. What I'm trying to do here is reframe risk, because once you understand what the real risks actually are, Bitcoin becomes much calmer to own. For context, I'm Harvinder Bhogal. I work with long-term Bitcoin holders who care more about ownership and risk than short price-term volatility. And what I see again and again is that people focus on the obvious risks while missing the ones that actually do the real damage. Risk number one, counterparty risk disguised as convenience. So let's start with this one. It's a very common one. The most dangerous Bitcoin risks often look like convenience. The exchanges feel safe, the apps feel familiar, logins and passwords feel normal. And because they feel normal, people assume they're low risk. But the reality is simple. If someone else controls your Bitcoin, you are exposed to counterparty risk. That doesn't mean exchanges are evil. It means they're businesses, and businesses can fail. They can freeze your account. They can change the rules. So before you buy, ask yourself a very simple question. Who actually controls this Bitcoin? And what happens if this platform suddenly disappears? This matters because counterparty risk is invisible right up to the moment it isn't. Risk number two, counterparty complexity people underestimate. Now let's talk about the other side. Self-custody is very powerful, and I'm a big advocate for it, but it's not automatic safety. A lot of people hear, not your keys, not your Bitcoin, and they're right, but that's not the end of it. Self-custody removes one type of risk, but it introduces another. Things like poor backups, lost recovery phrases, no inheritance plan. Bitcoin doesn't forgive mistakes. There's no reset button. So before you buy, you need to be honest with yourself. Do you understand your backup strategy? Do you have a backup strategy? Have you tested your recovery? And would someone I trust be able to access this if something happened to me, like a loved one? This matters because a lot of Bitcoin losses don't happen in dramatic hacks. Yes, they do happen, but most of the damage is done quietly and permanently. Now this one is less technical and far more common. The biggest risk in Bitcoin is how you behave under pressure. Everyone has a plan until the price drops. That's when rational thinking disappears and emotion takes over. So here's the truth. If a drawdown would cause panic, your position is too large. Before I buy, I always ask myself this. If the price tanked tomorrow 20-30%, would I still remain calm? If the answer is no, then I do reduce the position size. This matters because panic decisions lock in losses that never needed to happen. Another risk people never even think about is time. Bitcoin is volatile in the short term. That volatility is amplified when your time frame is too short. I really do know people that put their rent money into Bitcoin or crypto in the hope that it's going to double within like a week or two. And then when the price drops, they don't have enough money for their rent. Most people buy Bitcoin expecting it to behave like a trade. And then life happens. They need liquidity or patience runs out. Before you buy, you need to be clear. Is this capital I can genuinely leave alone for years, not months, not until the next cycle, years? This matters because short time horizons create forced panic selling. And forced panic selling is where a lot of damage is done. Now this is the final one. Most people spend their energy worrying about risks they cannot control. Headlines, predictions, noise, the government, and they ignore risks that are entirely within their control. Custody, position size, time horizons, processes. When you control those, a lot of the fear just disappears. Bitcoin becomes less emotional, a lot less stressful, and far easier to hold through turbulent times. This matters because clarity replaces anxiety with confidence. So those are the Bitcoin risks no one really talks about before you buy. They're not exciting, they're not going to make headlines, But they are the difference between owning Bitcoin calmly and feeling on the edge. Bitcoin doesn't reward activity, it rewards discipline. And the people who survive the longest are usually the ones that benefit the most. If you want to know the exact process that I follow and the ones I take my one-on-one clients through on how to buy Bitcoin for the first time, I've got a separate video. The link's in the description. I go through the whole process step by step, which exchanges I use, what two-factor authentication apps I use, what email platforms I use, the whole thing. It's completely free, there's no opt-in, and I go into a lot of detail. It's definitely worth watching. If you like these kind of videos, subscribe, share with someone that might find them useful, and comment down below if there's any videos, any Bitcoin related videos that you want me to cover. I'll see what I can do. Thanks for watching.